Hi all, it's Pastor Brad, here to talk with you about the Israel trip for Grace Chapel for the fall of 2022. This is the information meeting, the first information meeting for those who are interested in going, and this was in place of the one that I held yesterday on campus here, for those of you who couldn't be here. Unfortunately, the recording for the long version of that didn't work, so I'm going to try to give you all the information in this video and probably a follow-up video for that as well. As always, you're welcome to give me questions, and I'll include my email address for you to do that as well. So if you have individual questions, please don't hesitate to ask me those. I'll try to give you an overview of the trip today and the costs and the dates and the registration information so you can have what you need to fill out your registration. Okay, so we are planning a slower paced trip to Israel this fall, and the reason behind that is that I had several in the church who said that I'd really love to go to Israel, but I don't know that I can do all of the physically demanding stuff that the normal trip requires. And we had a couple who were they've always dreamed of going to Israel, but had some physical limitations, and so I thought it'd be a really good idea to stick together a trip that would be geared toward them. Now, I want to say right away that we've tried to do everything we possibly can to hit all the most important spots, almost all of the normal spots that we go to, but we're going to do it at a little bit of a slower pace, meaning that we're going to spend a little bit more time at each of those places. We're also going at a time of the year in October, which the end of October, which makes it quite a bit cooler in terms of the temperatures there. So the pace, spending a little bit more time at each place, taking some more time to rest between things, and cutting out some of those things that are the more intensive walking, the uphill, the off-road, all those kinds of things, as much as possible, cutting those things to a minimum so that it makes it easier and more accessible to people who just need a little bit more time and a bit more of a break from the physical. So that's the plan. There is a brochure that I have that I will email to you. I've attached that to this email that you're getting with the link here. Make sure that you read carefully this brochure. Pilgrim Tours is the one who makes the brochure for us and does our arrangements in terms of the airfare, the buses, the hotels, the tour guide that we're required to have while we're in Israel. All those details are being handled by Pilgrim, and they do a fantastic job of that. Pilgrim's information is on the bottom of this sheet that you will, again, have received by email. And so you call that number at the bottom, the 800 number, 800-322-0788. And you can get to Jessica, who is our representative, and her extension is 121. The website is there as well. And I've also included a link in the email that I sent to you that has all of our information for our custom tour with the dates and the price and the insurance information. All of that is included as well. So definitely read this brochure carefully, front and back, all of the details of that. I also want to mention right away that you should carefully examine the travel insurance plans on the bottom of this page. Make sure that you are well familiar with what those plans cover, what they cost, and the difference between the two different plans. One of those is what's called the Horizon Plan on the lower left-hand side or the back of that sheet. The Horizon Plan covers things like your trip delay or cancellation, or misconnections or baggage delay, all those kinds of things, but also covers emergency medical and dental. And this is required by Israel for tourists coming in, that they have medical coverage that will cover them while they're in Israel. Most American insurance plans do not do that, so you need to have a travel plan for that. It also includes emergency medical transportation should that need to come about. The other, and that's 7.6% of the tour cost. Okay. That one you do not have to pay when you pay your deposit. However, if you want what's called the Unforeseen Reasons Plan, that one costs 10.25% of our tour cost, so around $430 or so, a little bit more than that. And that one covers cancel for any other reasons. And so you definitely read this over. I'm not an insurance expert, but and actually 3 or 4 years ago I might have said it's not required to buy travel insurance, but the times that we live in now, I think it's really wise to have travel insurance. So please read those over carefully. Make sure you understand what you're getting, what you're paying for, whether that's covered some other way for you, maybe your credit card, or if you want to shop for your own travel insurance, please just have that in mind. The thing about the Unforeseen Reasons Plan is that you have to pay that when you pay your deposit. And so if you are looking at registering today or tomorrow and paying your deposit, you'll also have to pay for that insurance plan. So make sure that you do that if that's your intention. I just don't want you to miss the opportunity to buy that plan in case that is what you need. So please read all those details carefully and take responsibility for those things. Okay, let me get to the more exciting things. So first of all, our dates for the trip are October 27th through November 8th of this year, and I'm excited about that. We have a couple of things that I want to show you in terms of our airfare. Let me see if I can get to that now. Okay, there we go. Here's our flight information, and this is from LAX. If you're joining us from LAX, please let us know right away that you are planning to be on that flight. We do have a limited number of seats reserved on this flight. It departs from LAX on October 27th at 2 p.m. We arrive in Tel Aviv at 1:55 p.m. the next day. So it's actually about a 14-hour and 25-minute trip, but there's also a 10-hour time zone change between LAX and Tel Aviv. So we arrive basically 24 hours after we depart, but there's a 10-hour time zone change in that and a 14-hour flight. So all of that, it is a nonstop flight, which is has its advantages, certainly. It is nice to make sure that your luggage is on the same flight as you. There's less of a risk of luggage being lost on a direct flight. You also get there faster that way, obviously. But the disadvantage is you don't get to get off the plane for a little while in the middle and walk around, get something to eat, those kinds of things. But I think a nonstop flight is the way to go if we get that opportunity. There will be opportunity to get up and walk around on that flight. And so you can stretch your legs, those kinds of things too. So that's the October 27th departure. Then we return on November 8th, and that leaves from Tel Aviv at 12:45 a.m. Yes, that is 45 minutes after midnight, and that's okay. That's a really good way to do it. We'll just pack up all our stuff in the hotel that evening, get ourselves to the airport in plenty of time to be there to get through security, all that, and then get on our flight and go to sleep, hopefully arriving in LAX at 6 a.m. the next day, again after a 14-hour flight. Okay, so those are the flight details. Let me get you then to the hotel details. So we are staying in Netanya our first couple of nights. Netanya is a beautiful city on the coast, on the Mediterranean coast of Israel, and we stay there for 2 nights in a hotel that I've been to and really enjoy, the Mediterre, and it is a great hotel with great beach access and a wonderful place where you can get down and walk along the beach. Good food, all of that included there. We are there for 2 nights at the Mediterre. Then we go to the Sea of Galilee, and we'll be staying 3 nights at a place called the En Gev. It's a kibbutz on the southeast side of the Sea of Galilee. I've got to get that in my head. Southeast side. It's a place again that I've been to. Really good food, really good accommodations there as well. And with 3 nights there, so you'll get a chance to kind of make that home for 3 nights. Then we go to the Dead Sea, down to the Leonardo Plaza, and we're there for only 1 evening. That is right in the middle of our kind of bus tour trip, part of the trip, down at the Dead Sea, which is great because you have access to the Dead Sea. You can go down there and float and then come back up and shower off and get ready for dinner. So you'll really enjoy that hotel, very nice hotel on the Dead Sea as well. And then finally we'll be staying in Jerusalem for 5 nights. And there's a hotel called the Yehuda. This is the only one on this list that I have not been to, but it looks like a very nice hotel, as they all are, on our trip. And it'll have access for us to be able to get to the Old City without too much of an effort there. We'll also have a bus that will help us to do that as well. So those are our accommodations. You'll notice also the itinerary that's listed on this sheet too, all the places that we intend to go. Hopefully some other advantages, other places that we can maybe squeeze in at other times too, but we don't want to be too rushed. For this trip, as any trip, less is more in a lot of ways. There's so much you could possibly take in that I want to make sure that we emphasize what we should take in and kind of hit the highlights and do a really good job on those things. Okay. You'll also notice on that brochure, the price is listed per person as double occupancy, and that is $4,300. Again, that includes round-trip airfare from Los Angeles if you're joining in with us on that. There is also the possibility to do what's called land only, where you arrange your own flights, whether you have Sky Miles or something to do for that, or you want to upgrade to first class, or whatever that is. If you want to arrange your own flights, you're certainly welcome to do that. And then we can get you a land only cost that will be just what we pay for while we're there in Israel. That price includes all of our meals except for lunches, and our hotels and all the other admissions fees, all those kinds of things. The only thing not included in that price is our lunches and our souvenirs. So if you want to pay for souvenirs, you can do that on your own. The reason that we don't do lunches is because you have some options for the lunches that you might buy in certain places, and I didn't want to force you into one particular option. So plan on $25 per person per day in addition to this price for your lunches and maybe water or drinks or maybe ice cream, but an average of about $25 per person per day. We'll pay for our lunches. Okay. We'll have another meeting coming up in either August or September where we'll talk about packing and what to include and not include, what kind of clothes to wear in October, even talking about things like the adapters you're going to need for electrical power when we're in Israel, for how much money you want to take in terms of maybe American dollars or shekels or credit cards and how we pay for things. Don't worry about all those kinds of things right now. We will get to that in another meeting coming up a bit later. You'll notice also on that brochure it says that there's a single supplement of $1,050. That is if you want to have a room to yourself. You pay that extra on top of that. If you would rather room with somebody else, then we can try to match you up with somebody. We will do our best to do that. So certainly single women with single women, single men with single men, and get you in a room, hopefully with a roommate. And then you don't have to pay that single supplement. If you'd rather have a room to yourself, you're welcome to do that. It just costs that $1,050 extra for that. The reservation due date is July 19th, so that's coming up. That's just tomorrow of 2022. If you're thinking that you really want to register but you can't do it by tomorrow, please just give me a phone call or an email and let me know, and we'll see what we can do to help out with that. And that really is so that we know how many rooms and how many seats on the airplane to hold. Okay, so if you are looking for buying your own airfare, then we can accommodate that. We can figure that out. But it is really difficult right now. There's high demand for hotels in Israel. And so we want to make sure that we have the right amount of rooms reserved for everybody who wants to go on our trip. Again, the final payment is due on August 26th, so you don't need to pay in installments between now and August, but you do need your final payment for the full amount by August 26th. And that they will send you an invoice on that and tell you how you can pay for that, whether by a check or they'll have a way to pay for that online as well. Okay. I'm running out of space on this particular video to be able to record, so I'll make a second one where I'll answer some more questions that I think you might have. So this one will cut off here in a few minutes, and then we'll go with a second one as well. You'll notice that there's an email address, or actually a website address at the bottom of this page where it's talking about Pilgrim, and it gives a link. That is a link to register electronically, and that's what I would really recommend, is that you go to that link and that you sign up. It's pilgrimtours.com/groups/Grace Chapel Study Trip 2022.htm. Again, it's listed there. Please go ahead and register yourself electronically. If you would rather do it by paper, certainly understand that. There is a registration sheet that I have included also as an attachment to the email that I sent to you. You can do it by paper and you can send a check, but please give Jessica a call at Pilgrim Tours and let her know that you have done that, so that she makes sure that she looks for that when it comes in the mail and gets you on our list as soon as possible. And again, the address for Pilgrim is both on the reservation sheet, but also on that on the brochure sheet as well. Okay. On the next video, I'll walk a little bit through our itinerary, tell you what you can expect to find when we get there. I'll answer some other questions that generally come up pretty often. But that's kind of a rundown of the basics of it. So let me cut this one off, and then we'll come back with another video in just a second. Part 2, we'll give you a little bit more information on itinerary, what to expect when we're there, and hopefully answer some questions in advance. All right, so look for video 2.